Stephanie says, good evening.
Good evening.
Happy to catch a live again. How come you switched your ball pythons back to paper? No judgment, just curious.
Yeah, so there's a number of reasons for this, and I actually was just talking to Miguel from Always Evolving Pythons about that. Number one, to be honest with you, the husbandry is better on paper than it is on bedding, because you're just really cleaning a little lump of poop every week on the bedding, whereas you're disinfecting the entire cage when you're doing that. Now, it does take more work. There's more time doing it on paper is the other thing. But Miguel was saying he was thinking about switching to paper or liner, and a lot of people do keep ball pythons on liner. And one of the biggest reasons is during the breeding season, when a male is breeding, you're going to lose some hemipenes, right? And on bedding. Because all that bedding gets into their hemipene when a female pulls out, or if they're stretched a little bit, and then that gets into the hemipene pocket, it becomes infected, and then you lose.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, it's every single year you'll do that on bedding, whereas on paper that doesn't happen. And that's why you've seen the blood trails.
Dude, of course, yeah.
That blood trail would now have gumping amounts of bedding that have now impacted your animal's hemipene. So those are the reasons for now. And listen, I know some people, it's a weird thing. For some reason, people feel that paper is less enrichment than bedding. And I don't know what enrichment bedding is giving an animal. I mean, I guess you could say they could burrow, but
just moving through it. Yeah.
But besides that, I don't know really what the advantages are. Listen, I don't know how I feel about keeping any snake aesthetic, these days. If I had my way, I would keep everything like the Reptarium. But I've said that's the age-old battle, right? It's like, okay, if you want me to keep my ball pythons and everything like the Reptarium, then my ball python prices are going to be 5 times what everyone else's prices are, which means no one's going to buy them from me, and then I'm going to be out of business.
Yeah, so it's really true.
Like,
it's true.
It's kind of like, I've always said it's the free-range beef compared to normal farm beef, right? It's that argument. People don't like beef being kept the way they are. I certainly don't. But what percentage of the market is buying free-range beef that is 3 times the cost? And the answer is 3%, because I know that, okay? So 3% of people are willing to pay the extra money for the fact that the animals are being kept. 97% of people probably don't feel good about it, but aren't willing to put their money where their mouth is, right? They're going to still buy the beef that comes from the big manufacturers, right? So, and that would be the exact same number, I guarantee you, with the reptile side of things. If I kept big enclosures that were beautiful universal rocks and all this enrichment, and that's how I bred stuff, but my snakes were 3 times the cost. 3% of the people that would want to buy a snake would buy from me, and 97% would buy from the other guys that are keeping them just the way I am. Now, that doesn't make it right, just like the beef thing doesn't make it right. I think it's a little different. I think that a snake isn't a cow. Cows are more intelligent. They're mammals. They do need more enrichment. They do suffer more if they're trapped.
More a conscious thing,
But that being said, I'm not trying to make an excuse. And I've always said, and I'll continue to say, that I struggle with this daily. And
it's something we always talk about.
Yeah, and it's something that may eventually cause me to stop breeding snakes because I'm struggling with them. I'm always evolving, right? I'm always evolving my ideas and my concepts. What I did 8 years ago isn't what I do today. And that's why it's a bummer. Sometimes I'm judged by what I did 8 or 10 years ago when I've changed so much as a human being in the last 8 to 10 years. But yeah, so I know that was a long-winded
No,
answer,
you're good.
But that's why we switched back to paper.
Doc Holliday says, hi, Brian.
Doc, what's up?
My caiman lizard died from underground reptiles. He seemed something was wrong. No refund or replacement, just a discount. Thoughts?
It's always tough, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's tough when you lose an animal, and it's always tough for me to comment on some other business practice when I don't really know all the
whole
details.
Situation. Yeah.
So the way BHB works and the way Underground or so many other people work are very, very different, right? And there's a couple reasons for that. Number one, they are buying and selling everything, right? I mean, they do produce tegus and a couple other things, but for the majority of things, they're buying and selling stuff. And when you buy from them, you should understand that the majority of the stuff that they're selling are wild caught or captive hatched over in South America or wherever, Africa or wherever the case, the animal that you buy are from. So you're not buying a captive bred animal from BHB or from any other said breeder. You're buying an animal that isn't captive, right? And so I'm not saying you should assume some risk, because I don't know if I agree with that either. But at the same time, it's harder for those companies to replace an animal or even give 100% refund as compared to us. Like we do. I mean, period. I mean, like if someone buys an animal from us, a month later it dies, you're getting a refund or you're getting a new animal back or something like that.
Yep.
But that's because we produce it. We have a different mentality. But again, I don't know, the whole situation. I will tell you that it's not uncommon for caiman lizards to not survive, to be totally honest with you. They come in once a year. They are all either wild caught or captive, captive born in a facility out of the country. So they're still prone to parasites, and there is a relatively decent percent of them that don't survive. And you probably didn't know that, I mean, most people wouldn't, but it is true. It's just, it's the fact, and, so yeah, it's a bummer, but again, I will say I've done business with Ryan from Underground. I've known him for a number of years. I think that when you're talking about the type of business that they are, which is an import business mainly, not exclusively, but mainly, I think that they're still one of the better ones. I mean, they do take care of their customers. Most of their animals that are sold are very, very good. And our experience have been with them have always been really good. I think that, you're just in a bad spot right now, and it sucks, and it sucks because, I wish someone was captive breeding. Now, ironically enough, there's a couple zoos that breed caiman lizards. And every now and then, the zoo-bred animals are available. Now, they're quite a bit more money, but they're worth it because they're true captive hatched. True captive bred,
yeah.
And they're going to thrive. But like I said, I mean, we're talking like less than 20 a year are born in the country. So I don't know why they seem to be so hard to breed. I don't, because I know a lot of people that have tried.
Yeah.
Most people, even Tom Crutchfield, he was like all gung ho on breeding them and never even got eggs.
Wow, really?
And he's really great at breeding stuff. So
yeah, he got eggs from croc monitors, right?
He got
which
one.
is like another one.
As a matter of fact, Toothless Reptiles just got a clutch today from
way.
The second clutch. This is their second clutch.
It's
so
huge,
they got
man.
2 clutches in the incubator. So Tom only hatched one baby, which was still a huge accomplishment. May have been the first actual captive bred and born croc monitor in the country that I know of. I could be completely wrong, so don't quote me on it. But I think that's what it was. But Toothless actually produced a clutch before Tom's hatched, and now has a second clutch on the ground, which is pretty freaking dope.
Dank J says, been really low lately. Thank you to all of you for being so supportive. Much love.
Well, Dank, I get it, man. And listen, there's a real world energy in the world these days. So a lot of people have been down, and something to work on hard. Obviously I continue to work on my anxiety, and I have up days, I have down days, more better days than worse days these days. It used to be more worse days than better days. So things are getting better, but it's like I always say, you got to work on it. You know what I mean? You got to work on it hard. Your mental health means so much, and you can get through any ups or downs that you're having, whether it's depression or anxiety or whatever. It's just a matter of how much you want to put into it. I mean, hey, listen, life isn't worth living if you're not enjoying it. You know what I mean?
So true,
so
man.
It doesn't matter what you have, what you accomplish, whatever. Again, last year I had everything I could ever want. Money was great. Business was great. Everything, my friends, my family, everything was great. And yet I was in hell, mental hell. So it realizes that, you got to get your mental house in order and work hard at it. And we're here for you, man. I believe in you.
Yeah, 100%. And literally both the people that are talking to you right now have both been through heavy shit. So you will get through it if you keep trying at it.
Yeah, you just got to keep trying. Don't settle.
Yeah, definitely don't.
And that's, some people do that. I'll be honest with you. When I talk to people that are like, oh, I've suffered from anxiety for 25 years.
You're like, what?
I'm usually like, well, then you settled for 25 years for that pain, You don't have to settle for that. If you work hard, you don't need to suffer.
Yeah, you will be happy.
Yeah, but it's not easy. I mean, it's fuck if I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and be like, oh yeah, no, it's easy. Just do this and you're good.
Yeah, you'll be fine in 2 days.
It's hard, man. It's fucking hard. And especially when you do it without medication,
Well, it's hard to the level of like kicking an addiction, like it because it's your brain's almost addicted to being in that mental state of being depressed or anxious. So it's literally very difficult. It's like trying to break addiction.
It's like rewiring your brain.
Exactly.
Is basically what it is. But you can do it, and I feel like if you do it without medication, you get there and you stay there because you've actually created, instead of putting a Band-Aid on it, you've actually like literally fixed the problem and rerouted your brain cells the right way. So. But again, man, just hang in there, bro.
We love you, brother.
It'll get better, man.
Damn, son.
Can we rail this in?